Talk. I'm Cree Wong, your host. This podcast series focuses on close relationships to you. So whether it's at home, in your romantic life, or at work, like a coworkers, we'll talk about it here. In today's episode, I'm really focusing on one specific type of relationship, and that is the dating one. So if you are dating someone, this podcast is for you. So tune in. Haven't you ever wondered as you're dating that special person in your life and you wonder, gosh, it's been like 6 months now. I like her a lot, but I don't know if he or she is the right one for me. We all come across that question, every single one of us. And if you didn't get that question across your head, there's something seriously wrong. You have low standards or you just don't care. So always think about that. After 3 to 6 months, I usually say 6 months just to be fair, but 6 months of dating exclusively, you should start thinking, okay, is he or she the right person for me? I don't want you to think about this question like later down the line, like 5 years down the line or 10 years down the line, because then it's so much time invested in that relationship. You lost almost a decade of your life on one person that you kind of liked. Yeah, that's not cool. So if you can nip it in the bud and figure out yourself early on in the stages of dating, the better you both will be. So this is for the person who is dating someone exclusively for about 6 months. Let's go ahead and get started. There are 3 sets of criteria that I want to present to you. And if your partner meets all of them, then you have a likely higher likelihood of having that person be your best match. That means that partner is less likely to cause problems for you in the future, less likely to cause a lot of conflicts, arguments, and that means less chance of divorce, less chance of breakup down the line. And that's the goal of this podcast, to reduce those chances. So how do you pick the best match? Notice I said best match. I didn't say good match. Okay. So if they only fulfill 2 of the 3 criteria I listed today, they're just good. They're not the best. So we want to look for the best one. If they only fulfill 1 of the 3 criteria, yeah, they're just kind of okay. Okay. So that means that there is a higher likelihood of you having more fights because they didn't fill all the criteria. And the criterion is based off experience, off of research. So this is something you want to tune into and see if you can apply those standards to your partner. Let's begin. The first criterion is a simple one. Y'all know this one. Your partner should love you. And I don't mean love you like a brother or sister. I don't mean that. I mean like love you, like romantic way. Like, I want you, honey, in a sexual way. All right. There's like chemistry in there. Like every time your partner smells you or you smell him, you just want to like be all over them like mold on cheese. You know what I'm saying? That is criteria number 1. Believe it or not, there are some relationships, especially Asian ones, that are together for other reasons like convenience, companionship, whatnot. And, that's fine, except that probably won't last. I think sexual chemistry has to be there if you want to make it last forever. Okay. That partner should also be well liked or tolerated by your family, especially close-knit families. Close-knit families are very tight, and they have a lot of pull with your partner. In other words, they can't have a lot of pull with them. And so if they like you, they may not have to love you. They don't have to love you. If you heard my other podcast, the in-laws may not like you. The future in-laws may not like you, and that's okay. But if they could tolerate you and like you to an extent, that's fine. That's fine. Take it. That's good enough for you. At the end of the day, it's all about how your partner treats you, regardless, right? Regardless of what they say about you. If he treats you with love and tenderness and respect, you're good. You found a right partner for you. But at the very least, his family should at least like you or tolerate you. Okay. If they're totally against you, you got some issues there. Okay. And usually with families, if they're against the potential girlfriend or boyfriend, they're against you because of the ethnicity, the culture, social economic status. They look at other things. They don't know you. They don't know you. They're not rejecting you. They're just rejecting you based on demographic factors. Okay, because they're looking out for the long run. In some close-knit cultures, like Koreans, Indians, they're very what's the word? Culture centric. They're all about marrying within their own culture, marrying within their own race or ethnicity, and that's their call, but expected. For example, I know someone who was dating an Indian girl for a long time, and they loved each other for like years, the entire time while they're in grad school. He wanted to marry her. She wanted to marry him. But then she kept saying, my parents will never approve of this. I'm Indian. They're going to set me up with some Indian dude. And my friend was like, but I love you and we love each other. Who cares what your parents think? No, it's a close-knit family. Indian parents have a lot of influence over their child. So she broke up with my friend and she got married within a month to some guy that the parents set her up with. It was crazy. He was heartbroken because what he had was true love for her for 4 years. And she just said, nope, not going to work. I'll tell you right now, my parents will disown me. They won't respect me. They won't never take my calls. I'm totally out of the family if I marry you. And that was more important for her to retain that relationship with her family. So she married this other dude, this other Indian dude that she barely knew. She didn't know him at all when they got married. Very unfortunate. I feel bad for her, actually. I feel bad for those people who are forced to marry into a marriage that is created by the parents because of, demographic reasons, right? They didn't like my friend because he was, Chinese. Well, he can't change that. That's how he was born. That's who he is. So I told my friend, don't sweat it. It's her loss. She can marry you, but she'll be unhappy because her parents hate her. So that's going to be no good. And you'll have conflict after that. He agreed. He moved on. Now he's happily married, has a kid, all good. So it all worked out for him. I don't know about her, but at least he's married. He's married to a girl that he does love. All right. So our first one was to say that the partner should love you romantically, and you should have a good relationship with the future in-laws. And number 3, your partner, this is an easy one, should have similar values and beliefs as you, such as political views, religious views, financial matters. Okay, those 3 things, political, religion, and finances, should be similar, not the same, but similar. Otherwise, they'll have problems in the future, right? Republican versus Democrats, or, whether a big spender or a church mouse, right? How are you spending? Is it similar or is it completely different? So those are very obvious set of criterion. Okay, that's the first tip. Make sure your partner has those 3 similar set of goals or standards as you do. Okay, they should love you, have a good relationship with your in-laws, and also have similar values as you. That's step 1. Okay. Secondly, what's the second set of criterion? And this is going to be a tough one, but you have to expect it. Not every person is perfect. Okay, let's look at my husband. Okay, he's like going to be my example for all my podcasts now. But he's a good one because he's a good guy. He is good. Like 90% of the time, I love him. He's awesome, Mr. Fixer. He helps me in so many ways that I can't even list on my fingers. Okay, just amazing. But there is a side to him that's gonna be, you call it annoying. They're idiosyncratic. They're just weird stuff. right? Everybody has weird stuff that they do. Um, so think about it. What do you do that's kind of weird that your partner doesn't like? And you can tell because they'll nag you about it. Like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Like, that's their way of saying, I don't like this. Or they acknowledge that you're doing it and they don't get it. Okay. Like for me, I have a lot of mugs. I collect mugs. I buy mugs every place I go, like Disneyland, Knott's Berry Farm, Cancun, whatever. So my cupboards are full of mugs. He didn't know that until we moved in. He goes, "Oh my God, there's like 2 cabinets full of mugs." Yeah, that's my little thing. It's annoying, but guess what? He still loves me. So when we moved, he didn't toss them away. He didn't destroy them and he didn't sell them. He didn't give it away. He carefully put them back into our new house. Oh my gosh. So he maybe not like or understand my crazy habit, but he loves me, so he can tolerate it. So he can accept it and tolerate it. That's tip number 2. You have to accept and tolerate your partner's weird idiosyncrasies. Okay. So my husband, what does he do that's kind of weird? Well, every Monday night he watches football for 2 or 3 hours. I guess most guys do, right? But he has a really weird collection of fishing poles. Like he has, I think, 30 fishing poles. And it's funny because I asked him or nagged him, I go, why do you have so many? You have like 30 of them. They're all different lengths, different sizes, different real rods. And he says, well, this is like for shark. This is like for little tuna. This is like for, there's a fishing pole for every certain type of fish out there or ocean or place that he's going to fish. I don't know about fishing, but he says that this is for river, this is for pond, this is like for ocean. I'm like, oh my goodness. I didn't know it was so many things, but he has so many of them. I didn't get it. I nagged a little bit about it, but at the end of the day, I learned to accept it and tolerate it. So now he still has 30, he probably has 35 by now, but I don't nag about it. I just let him keep it in the garage, you know? So that's me accepting it. Most women, if you can't accept that and it annoys you, yeah, this is probably not going to work because they're so annoyed, so pissed off by his annoying behavior. Yeah, that's not love. That's not love. So that's the thing. So second point number 2 is that you have to accept and tolerate these annoying behaviors. I remember talking to one guy one time. He was like my uh, friend's husband, and he would drink a beer with breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Okay, and he would sleep in between breakfast, lunch, dinner. Okay. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, like, how are you dealing with this? And she's, that's a normal Saturday day for him. Saturday, Sunday, he just drinks all day long. And I remember telling her, God, this I would not stand for. If I was married to him, I'd be divorced in a heartbeat because that's a behavior I can't stand. I can't stand it. I would not tolerate it. I don't care how much I love that guy. And he's actually a nice guy. He's a nice guy. But the fact that he did that, oh, no, no, no. We are so done. So if you cannot accept it and tolerate it, yeah, this is probably not gonna last. You can tell. Like, don't you ever go to see someone like and go, oh my goodness, if that was my husband, I would so not marry him, right? People do weird stuff, right? People collect zits. People collect, overspend, right? Overspend on silly things. I know one girl who will spend thousands of dollars on Chanel purses and Gucci, Prada purses. Like she loves those purses. But guess what? She puts them in the original packaging and hides them in her closet. So we never actually see these purses. We never see it, but she buys a lot of them. But she never wears them. She always wears the same $20 backpack from Target as her purse. So anyways, everyone has their thing, right? They're not really major, but you gotta learn to tolerate them. Like for me, I can't tolerate someone who smokes. I can't. Like I know people do, but if you were to be my husband and smoked, that's it. That's a deal breaker. We're done. So if my husband were to pick up smoking, I don't think so. I'm gonna have to put a nicotine patch on you. Okay. I know my husband doesn't smoke, but sometimes he'll do a cigar once in a while. And I was like, you can do a cigar, but don't come near me for the next like day and a half. And you got to shower up and down because he smells real bad. Anyways, so that's tip number 2. You have to accept and tolerate the other person's weird stuff. And if you cannot, that's no good. That's not a good sign. Tip number 3. This last one. You have to think about what you provide in the relationship. So when you look at your partner, you think, am I making him a better person? Is my existence giving value to him or her, and vice versa? So think about that. Am I better because of him, and is she better because of me? Okay, so it has to go both ways. And here's the reason why. Relationships are symbiotic. They're symbiotic, which means we feed off each other. We give, not just give like food or money. We're talking about give, like we give lessons, we give experience, we give tips, we educate, we help the other person, and vice versa, the other person will help us. So I'll give you an example. When I first got married, my husband is very like competitive, very, very yeah, competitive is the best way to say it, right? And he's kind of harsh around girls, like his mother and his sisters. They're very harsh, like, shut up, fool. Shut up. Like very harsh. And these sisters would go, God, you're so mean to me. And I'm like, it's kind of harsh. And I'm opposite. I'm actually more sensitive. So I do have a lot of empathy for my sister-in-laws. I go, oh yeah, that's not cool. He's kind of being rough on them. And I go, why are you so rough on them, my husband? And my husband says, oh, no, it's no big deal. I'm just saying. But he's talking through a competitive mentality. He's thinking like they're guys. Like, he doesn't understand. He's not around women that much except for his sisters. And he's just like, says whatever he feels. He's very blunt, in other words. And his words can be a little hurtful, a little edge to them, a little, a little rough. And so over the years, I've taught him to, dial it down. Say it this way. Don't call them fool. Call them, hey, sis. Let's superpose the word fool for sister or yo, not idiot, not, stupid head, don't have to name call. There's no reason for it. Just say like, hey, can you pass me the potatoes, sister? That'd be nice. Versus pass the potatoes, you fool. I don't know why he does that. But he has done that, and guess what? Their relationship is so much better now. And he has contributed to the fact that he's more well received by his family, by his patients, because of what I taught him. To listen to others, not to use name calling in his language. You don't need to. Now that we have children, I told him you probably shouldn't say bad words because children is like sponges. They absorb that bad word and they're gonna like say it at school, which they did. I got in a lot of trouble by the principal for that one. I'm like, honey, could you not use the S word or F word around the children? Like, I know you do it, but just dial it down. He did. And guess what? No more problems. Okay. So I know that I do have a positive effect on my husband. And I just told you before, does he help me? Absolutely. Absolutely. Because of my husband, I have a lot of confidence to start my own company, to be on this podcast. He has given me so much more opportunity to see, to grab onto. Like, I didn't realize I was good on podcasts. I didn't realize that I could be a good manager, but he would tell me, no, Corinne, you actually were pretty good. So that helps me. And I would go out and find these opportunities to do it because he believed in me. And yeah, that's priceless. So our bond is very tight because I give and he gives. That's the best thing to do, right? So that makes your relationship even stronger. So tip number 3 is make sure the relationship is a giving one. Okay, not just take. It has to be giving both ways. It's gonna be symbiotic. Symbiotic means you feed off each other. Okay, kind of like leeches, right? Now you're probably thinking, all right, so why do I need all 3 criteria to fulfill to make sure my partner is the right or best person for me? Here's the reason why. Because when you guys start to fight, and you will fight, okay, you will. When it gets really heated, you're in a brawl. It's just like you're arguing about the children or the family, whatever, right? It's so easy to walk away at that point, right? Especially when you're so mad. You're not like loving the person, right? You don't want to be mold on cheese on them right now. You don't want to kiss them. You don't want to be near them. You probably couldn't care less about the family at this point. You don't care about his mom, his dad or sisters. You don't care about that. And you probably don't care about the fact that he's a Republican or Democrat. You don't care. So all the other criterion goes away. But if you stop and think, wait a minute, I'm fine with this man. Oh, I might lose him. But if I lose him, I'll lose my rock. I'll lose the person that makes me better. I'll lose the person that contributed to my life so much. Then you gotta start thinking, is this worth fighting over? Is this worth fighting and perhaps losing the love of your life? That's what I'm talking about. Is if you have tip number 3 down solid, that means that you have a bond there, and it's very hard to break. So you're less likely to walk away because you know that that person provides for you in more than just financial or food wise or whatever. It's like he provides you spiritually, mentally, intelligence, education. He gives you so much more than just, love at nighttime. He gives you mental stability, happiness throughout the day. Like I said, that is golden. So if you find that in a person that provides for you in that way, that person is creating a bond with you. So if you feel mad, you're gonna go, wait a minute, I don't want to lose that person. That person means so much to me. That person means so much to me. I don't want to leave yet. I want to stop, calm myself down, and try to work this out. Ta-da! And that's how you find the best match for you. That person will be in your life longer. You're more willing to work it out. Can you imagine if you have a partner that doesn't provide for you, doesn't give you what you need in your life? Guess what? When you fighting, you're like, you know what? Screw y'all. Okay. I've got nothing to lose. You mean nothing to me at this point. I don't need your money. I don't need your mom and dad. I don't need any of this garbage. And you don't help me at all. You don't give any value to my life. You're more willing to walk away at that point. And so breakups are a lot easier because of that. That's why it's important to have all 3 criterion set up. You got to fit all 3 benchmarks. So review. What are they? Number 1, your partner should love you romantically, be well liked by his family, and have common values and beliefs as you. That's kind of like a golden rule, right? Like everyone knows that one. Number 2, this is a hard one. You got to accept and tolerate their weird idiosyncrasies, all their weirdness that they do, like their habits or stuff that no one else knows, but you do because you live with them. Like, oh, he clips toenails in the kitchen. Who likes people cutting toenails in the kitchen? I don't, but he does. But guess what? If you love him regardless and you allow it to happen, great. That is love. That is love. If you can't tolerate it, this relationship is not strongly built and it's weak. So it's more likely to dissolve later on. Number 3, finally, is to think about, is that person contributing to my life? Is that person providing value to my life, and vice versa? It's important that you accomplish this benchmark because if you don't, you're more likely to break at the seams. Whenever there's a fight, next big fight, it can be enough to push the relationship over the edge and you guys will break up. Now, remember, I said that the relationship has to be symbiotic, which means that you give, and so does the other person. If you are giving and you provide value to the other person's life, but they don't add to your life, you know what ends up happening? You will feel resentful. You will feel resentful, and you won't know why. I'll tell you why. Because all you're doing is putting more eggs in that basket, and she just keeps taking. She's taking all of you. She loves your therapy sessions. She loves what you do for her. She loves what you do for the house, the car, her mental stability, everything. But she is not giving back. She's not putting eggs back into the basket for you to take. So she's not providing value to you. So you're going to feel resentful. That's why one-way value is not good in the long run. Eventually, you will feel resentful and you'll be like, I don't know why, but I really don't like my partner. I feel like I'm being taken advantage of. And this actually has happened before. I have a friend who was dating this one girl who was a big basket case, okay? Every time she went to work, she'd always complain about the coworkers and the lifestyle, and I think she was a nurse, and so there was a lot of people who were older than her who fought with her, complained about her. Oh, it was bad. So every time she'd come home to my friend, she'd complain about all the issues. So and so said this, and they said that I was late, but I wasn't late, and now they write me up, and blah blah blah. So my friend had to literally give her a therapy session every single day. Every time she came home from work, it was always somebody or somebody who was fighting with her or ignoring her, ghosting her, whatever. A lot of politics. My goodness, it's just a job. Why is so much drama in the job? Anyways, so I told my friend was very tired of giving these therapy sessions. And after a while, he's like, all I'm doing is just telling her to calm down and reinterpret what the person was saying. He was spending literally hours after his work to talk her down from the ledge and say, no, honey, they didn't mean it this way. They meant this way. You misinterpreted the words. I told him, you either got to cut her loose or she's got to stop asking you for free therapy sessions. And that's what he did. He stopped giving her therapy lessons. He's like, you know what? You're not really giving me any value here at this point. All you're doing is just take. And I'm getting upset now. He was getting so frustrated with her everyday drama stories. So upset. So he stopped. He's like, no, talk to someone else. I'm done with this. And that's what he did. So she started talking to someone else. Eventually she kind of figured it out. So she's better, more mature. That's great. You're still together, thank God. They have figured out how to bounce off each other. So how does she provide value to his life? Well, she's learned to take care of like their house and the dog, and she's learned to have more of a listening ear to his problems because he's also very stressed out. He has like 2 or 3 businesses, and when he comes home, he's very stressed out. So she'll talk to him like, "Oh, how's the business? How can I help?" And so that provides value because now she's being an outlet for his stress. Ta-da! See, symbiosis, right? You give, I give. Life is good. And guess what? They're still together because they work well together. All right. So we are now at the top of the hour. We're going to finish up with those 3 tips. And that was, again, that your partner should love you, have common beliefs with you, family should love you, or at least like you. Number 2, you should accept and tolerate their weirdness of your partner. And number 3, that you guys should have a symbiotic relationship. Learn to provide value to each other's life. You'll find my links in the show notes. You can follow me or send me a message if you like. Tell me if you love it, hate it, whatever. I'm all ears. Thanks for tuning in. That's a wrap.